everybody, so today I'm gonna do a very intense, like feline smoky eye. I guess is the best way to put it. It's gonna be very like a feline shape, so it's gonna come very far, like deep in, and it's gonna go way out. It's gonna be very intense, like perfect for the holidays if you want to wear this look. And this was actually requested by someone that follows me on Instagram. So I'm very excited to do it. It is actually a Kim Kardashian look. So because of that, you can imagine that the skin is a tiny bit more, it has a bit more product. I'm not gonna do that because it's not really my thing. I'm gonna do the same, but tone it down a little bit. So I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna start doing my eyes because the eye is so intense. I'm assuming there's gonna be a lot of drop down, so I don't want that. So I'm gonna start doing the eyes now. Okay, so I'm gonna start doing my eyes, and I already primed my eyes using a tiny bit of concealer, and I use the Born This Way Too Faced concealer. So I'm gonna go ahead and run a tiny bit of powder all over that concealer to make sure that the eyeshadow that I put on top blends really well, especially because we're using super dark shadows today. If we don't set the primer, we might get a bit of patchiness, and we don't want that. In the picture that they sent me, it was difficult to see what she was using on the eyelids. You could only tell that it was very strong. So I'm assuming that it was sort of like a very dark brown smoky eye with maybe something like this or like this in the on the lid. So we're gonna do that. However, we're gonna start lining the eyes, and we're gonna use the Marc Jacobs gel liner. And for this look, you really want to, well, one, it's very intense, so you want to take the eyeliner super close to the lashes, so there shouldn't be any space. So take it in between the lashes and very deep in. And the idea with this look is that it goes all the way in, and you line over, under, and inside. So we're gonna tie line as well. Start building that intensity. And we're gonna do the waterline. And now I'm gonna take a tiny bit of this liner and run it under my lashes, and maybe pull it out a tiny bit just to start like building the shape. And for this look, you ideally would use a gel liner, which is why I'm using these, or you can use like a gel liner that comes in a pod, but it has to be super intense and super long lasting. And now I'm gonna go ahead and blend the liner a little bit, especially the one in the bottom. And blend that outer wing, not too far out. And I'm actually gonna take it into the tip, just so that it gives it more of this shape. And I think she was using black liner. You can do so. It's gonna be a tiny bit more intense, but I feel like this is pretty intense enough for me. Also, sometimes when I use black liner, for some reason, it can irritate my eyes, which is kind of weird. Also, this one seems a tiny bit more festive because it has like very small like particles of glitter, so I really like it. Okay, so I did that, and it doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna blend it with eyeshadow, so it's fine if it's not like super perfect and super defined. So now I'm gonna start like building the shape with this brown shadow here, and I'm gonna take a fluffy brush, but something smaller. I don't want something that is so big that is going to fluff the product everywhere. I really want to like start building the crease. So this is a tiny bit more dense, and it's gonna build the intensity very much, and it's gonna be very defined. We're gonna blend it out soon, but I just want to make sure that I control wherever the powder is going in this first step. So I take it into my crease with very little pressure, just so that the powder blends really well. And I'm gonna take a fluffier brush and blend it upwards, because she didn't have it blended really high up. Now I take a tiny bit more with the fluffy brush, and I'm gonna remove the excess on my hand and do this inner bit, and I take it all the way up to the brow. But it's so little, I already had so little in the brush that it's not intense, it just creates like a very soft shadow. Remember to put as little pressure as possible, just so that the powder blends in really well. The more pressure you put, the more the patchier is going to be. And now we can take a fluffier, clean brush and just go over it to make sure that everything is really well blended. When it comes to smoky eyes, you really have to take your time blending the eyeshadows. That makes a huge difference, like it makes it seem a lot more professional. So now I'm gonna mix the brown and the black with the same brush, the same smaller brush. I'm gonna remove the excess, and I'm gonna start focusing it on the outer V. I took the same two shades in the fluffy brush, and I'm just blending it on the outer V and the inner V. I'm gonna take, not the coppery shade, I'm gonna take this one, which is a tiny bit darker, which is like a bronzy, dark bronze color, and I'm gonna put it in the center with my finger so that it has a lot more intensity. And again, with the brush, I'm gonna blend the edges. And I'm feeling like this needs a tiny bit more intensity, so I'm just gonna keep building it. Don't expect this to look good just like in one go, because it's not gonna be like that. It's usually not for smoky eyes, unless you're using something like a stick shadow, like, you know. But for this, you do have to go back and blend more and add more product and keep blending. Now we're gonna do foundation, because I wanna do that before doing the bottom lashes, just because I'm gonna have to really blend down the shadow on the bottom. I'm using the Cozzette Aqua Foundation, and I'm just gonna put it in the center. I already had a very thin layer of this foundation, so I'm just really building it a little bit more because I want better coverage. And I've been testing this foundation today. I have been using it now for like 8 hours, and it looks amazing. And it also builds up really well. Okay, so I'm using the Born This Way Too Faced Born This Way concealer. And I've already professed my love for this product. It's so good. And I really prefer a matte concealer over a like a dewy one, just because I feel like it sets better, it lasts better on the skin, it tends to wear better throughout the day, but that is just my opinion. And it's also based on my skin type, which is kind of like normal, really. Sometimes dehydrated. Okay, so now I'm gonna do my bronzer, and I'm using the Chanel one. Again, just because I don't want to use something so powdery and make the skin like super intense, and I feel like this is going to blend better with my skin and it's not gonna look like it's sitting on top. The eyes are already very intense, so I don't want to add, like, I don't want the look to be super makeup-y. I want to keep one element of the skin, of the face, more toned down. And a tip that someone said in the masterclass that I went to last week was that when you do your contour or your bronzer or something like that, that you need to blend like really well on the face, you do it like in light, short strokes. That way you're not putting the product and then trying to blend it. So you're just like blending it as you go. And I'm gonna take the bronzer on my jawline, tiny bit here. I'm not contouring with it, I'm just like bronzing my face slightly. Okay, now I'm gonna do the brows, and I'm using Anastasia pomade, and I'm actually doing my brows today just so that you see how I would do them. But honestly, I wouldn't do much with this. But I will say, try to keep it light because this look is so intense that, again, you have to keep the eyes like being the main focus. You also don't want to do something so light on the brows because against the very dark eye, it can look a tiny bit like editorial. So I'm just placing the color on the upper edge just because I find that defines the shape really easily and really quick. And then I'm elongating my brow towards the end. You see how it brings, like you see this eye and you see this one that doesn't have any brow, and this one looks more balanced, I feel. And also it gives, you know, the face like a bit of a lift. And you keep brushing them up just to see how your brow is looking, you know, because sometimes when you brush it, the hairs go down and everything, so you can't really see what you're doing. So you brush them up to see the actual shape and to break up the product. Okay, I haven't powdered my skin, so now I'm gonna use the highlighter, and I'm using this one by Kevyn Aucoin, which is very fine. It's very pretty. So I'm just gonna tap it very lightly, very softly on top of the skin, on top of the cheekbones. Oh shoot. Being careful not to put it all over your eyeshadow. But don't worry, just let it dry and we'll blend it after. And this is super fine and sophisticated. It's also a bit goldy. I don't know if you can see it there. Okay, so I am gonna do now my powder, and I'm gonna powder the under my eyes, just a tiny bit. And I have to spread out the concealer that I put because this has been a minute since I had it on, so it creased a teeny tiny bit. I'm gonna powder around my nose very lightly, and just a tiny bit here, just the center of my face, you know, avoiding this area here where we apply the liquid highlighter. And I'm gonna start with a brush like this, which is very small, and I'm gonna take the brown shade. I'm gonna remove the excess, and looking up, I'm gonna start building the color, and I'm gonna blend it really far down. So blend it more than you think you will need to, because the look was very bottom heavy. And I'm using the brown first just to make sure that everything is really well blended, because if I go in too dark initially, it might get patchy. So I'm taking it out just to meet the outer corner there. And taking it all the way in. And now with a clean brush, I'm gonna blend the powder even more. And now I'm gonna take the black shade on the same brush, and I'm gonna build a tiny bit closer to the lashes. Again, taking it in the inner corner. And the outer corner. I waited to do my concealer just because if I do this and then go with my concealer, it's gonna like create like a harsh line and it might be difficult to blend. And now with this brush, I'm just going to take it in this fold here and over my crease, just so that everything is connected. Okay, so I apply mascara mainly on the roots of my lashes and feather it out a bit because I don't want to get the I don't want to get too much mascara on the falsies, and I apply on the bottom lashes as well. So now we're gonna do powder and we're gonna do blush, and I'm using this one, which is Deep Throat by MAC, by Nars. And I'm just gonna put it like on the edge of my bronzer. Bringing it like to the apples of my cheeks. Very lightly though, because the eyes are already so intense. I've said it like a million times. I just want it to be very subtle. And now I'm gonna contour my nose because I feel like when I do very intense looks, my nose tends to look a tiny bit big and too round for my taste. So I'm just gonna contour it slightly, mainly just the tip. And I like to bring it in on the tip like this, just to make it a tiny bit pointier. And now, all that we have left to do is the lips. And of course I'm gonna go nude because otherwise, if I did like a red lip or something, it would be insane. So I'm just using this one by Tilbury, which is a very pretty, peachy, nudie shade. And that is a finished look. It's super intense. It's very like for like party, and you know, like something like a very like, it's very nighttime. Just like, I feel like this is a party makeup. But it's really fun. It's so different for me. I feel so weird looking at myself like this. The idea with this look is to take the shadow and the liner very far in, like the inner corner, and then all the way out. You don't want to have any missing gaps, so like no like fleshy bits, so just to give that feline effect. And I feel like the lashes also help like give that effect. If you get something that's too round, it's gonna give you like a more rounder, like a round eye, as opposed to something that goes out like this, which is going to emphasize the shape here. So I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching.